Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video tutorial, I will explain in Django web applications using Bootstrap jQuery how to insert the multiple drop-down selected checkbox values into MySQL PHP MyAdmin database. Now let's check the final output. These are the header tags. After that horizontal line, after the horizontal line we have the drop-down list with the checkbox elements. Now when I will select any course, notice here the selected values is displaying in the text box control. C#, MVC. If I unselect, now let's insert this Java, PHP and C#. Before insert the courses, the button control, let's check my new courses. Let's browse the table. Right now this table contains 0 rows, empty rows. So let's insert courses. So here we got a message, the selected courses Java, PHP and C# we have selected from this drop down list is saved successfully. We'll check in our database. Let's browse this table again. So here we got the course names, the multiple values from the drop down list Java, PHP and C#. Let's select another one. Now this time I'm selecting JavaScript and jQuery. I have selected only two courses which are jQuery and JavaScript. Insert course. The message we got, the selected courses jQuery and JavaScript is saved successfully. Now again I'm browsing the table. So here we got the new courses are added, jQuery and JavaScript. jQuery and JavaScript. That's it. We have implemented to insert multiple selected checkbox values from this drop-down list using Bootstrap with jQuery. If you are a first-time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before creating a new Django web application, first we'll create a new table in PHP MyAdmin database, which is my SQL server. The table I want to create in the sample DB database. Let me browse the sample DB database. Right now this database contains some tables. We got 52 tables. Let's create a new table. I'm selecting the SQL tab. Let's write the query to create a table. Create table new courses is a table name, and let's add the columns. The first column name is ID, integer type, not null. I'm adding the primary key, and I'm adding the auto increment column. After that, I'm adding the course names, which is a varchar 250, the size of this course names. That's it. Just in this table contains only two columns, ID and course name, because I want to save them multiple selected checkbox values from the drop down list control. So I required only the two columns in this table new courses. And let's click go to create this table, and here we got a message, the table has been created successfully. And let's browse the table. Here is the table. Let's browse this table, new courses, and here we got the results of this newly created table. New courses contains 0 rows. Now let's create a new Django web application. Before creating a new Django web application, first we require one new folder. So I'm creating a new folder in this local disk D drive. Right click the mouse, select new, then I'm selecting folder. Drop down list, checkbox, insert is my folder name. Let's browse this folder. Right now this folder contains empty. Now let's create a new Django web application in this folder. I'm using Visual Studio Code to create a Django web application. First, before creating a Django web application, first we'll add the folder name which we have created in the D drive. Go to File, Then select open folder and select our folder name, which is a DDL checkbox insert select folder. And here the folder is successfully added to our Visual Studio Explorer panel. At the right side we got the welcome page. Let's close this welcome page. Now let's create a new Django web application in this project. In this folder, go to view, then select terminal. And here we got our terminal, which is nothing but a command prompt. If you notice, the path is our folder name and the directory is D drive. Let's create a Django application Django -admin start project, and the project name is DDL checkbox insert. DDL chk insert is my application name. And here our application is successfully created. Let me expand this application. If you notice, in our Django application there is one subfolder and one manage.py. Let me expand this subfolder also. In the subfolder contains some Python files, the default Python files, settings.py, urls.py. All these files and folders has been created automatically when I create this project DDL check insert. Now before adding the functionality, first we'll browse this application is working or not. cd, I'm adding my application name, enter. Now let's run the server, python manage.py run server. See, after I run the server, we don't have any issues in our application, and below that this is our web server link. Control plus mouse click to browse this application, and here we got the default web page of our web application. The installed worked successfully, which means our Django application is working successfully. Now let's write the coding part. When we want to render HTML pages in Django applications, first we require one new folder called templates. So let's add the templates folder to our application. Select the application name, right click the mouse, click new folder, and the folder name is the templates, enter. And now in this templates folder we'll add our the HTML pages. So right click the templates folder, click new file. The file name is index.html, enter. And here we got our index.html page. Now before adding the designing part in this page, the Bootstrap and jQuery functionality, first we'll add the models.py page. Select the subfolder of the application, right click the mouse, click new file, add the page models.py, enter. And here we got the models.py. Now in this models.py, which is a Python page, contains a class and the properties. But before that, we'll add the very important the class in models class. From django.db import models class. After that, let's declare a class. The class name is save checkbox drop down list ddl models.model, m is capital here. Now in this class we just define the property. If you notice, in our table we have two columns. See here we got two columns, ID and course names. ID is the auto generated column, so I'm adding this course names. Not this one. Yeah. Course names is equals to, let's define the data type for this property models dot. The data type is a char field, field field, and let's enter the length of this field, len gth length is equals to 250. Then we'll add another class. That class is a meta class. We'll define it, our table name, class meta colon db underscore table is equals to, between double quotes, we'll add our table name is the new courses. Copy the course name, the table name, and paste here. That's it. Let's save this file. Save all. Now after that, let's add the views.py. I'm adding views.py in our project subfolder. So views.py, and here we got the views.py. In this views.py, we'll add the coding part to insert the records, the selected drop-down checkbox values. So before that, we have to import the necessary classes from Django.shortcuts import render class. The render class in Django applications, when we want to render our templates, which is the HTML pages, we require this render class. After that, we need the class name from this models page. So I can switch back to the views page. From our models page is inside our subfolder of our application, ddlchk insert dot models import. I'm pasting the class name. Now let's define def. The function name is save values, save courses. Let's define the save courses because it's a courses table. Request colon. When we want to insert the records in Django, so when we want to insert the records, the method is a post method. We are posting the data. So if request dot method is double equals to post colon, if request dot post dot get method in single quotes, the get method, the get values we are getting from the drop down list controls. So at this moment I am not adding here anything between the single quotes, colon. Now let's define the variable save results is equals to save results as an object. Let's add our class name, then save results dot. Our property name in the models class is the course names. Copy that one and paste here is equals to the course name we are saving from this if condition. Then let's save the results with save method. After that, once the selected checkbox values are inserted successfully, I want to display the message. For that I am adding one more class here from Django.contrib import messages class. And here I will add the messages.success method. This success method takes two parameters. The first one is requesting and the second one is the selected courses plus the course names we are getting from this condition, this if condition. Let's copy this one and paste here. Is saved successfully. Then this function return render request comma between single quotes. I am adding my templates. I am requesting my HTML page, and in the else part I am adding for the first if condition, else colon return render request, then single quotes I'm adding index.html. That's it, we have written the coding in this function to insert the records. Let's save this file, save all. Now we require the urls.py, and here we got the urls.py. First in this urls.py, let's import the views page dot import views, and we'll add the path. This is my default web page of our application, views dot. Our template, we are requesting this index.html with the help of this function save course. Copy this one, the function name, and paste here. That's it. Let's save this file. Now the most important step, open settings.py. In this settings.py, first we'll configure our application name. So come to the bottom little bit. If you notice here the install underscore apps, let's install our application name between single quotes. Our application name is DDL check insert. So DDL check insert. Make sure give the correct application name. Then come to the template section. In this template section there is directories. I am adding my templates folder with the base directory. So os.path.join method. This join method takes two parameters. So base directory, I am joining my templates folder with this base directory. So between single quotes I am adding my folder name, which is the templates. Then the last step in the settings.py, the database section. If you notice here in the databases, the default database is the SQLite3. And here also it's showing db.sqlite3. But I want to insert the records in MySQL table. So instead of SQLite3, just delete that one and add MySQL. And here the name, delete this default line between single quotes. The database name is sampledb. This is our database name. Add that one, sampledb. Then we require the user also. The user is root, and also we require the password. Here the password I'm leaving blank because I don't have any password to log into my PHP MyAdmin database. If you have any password, please enter between these single quotes. Next we require the host, which is the local host. Then we require the port number also of our database. The MySQL port number is MySQL 3306. Let's add that one, 3306. And the last attribute is the options colon between curly brackets, options curly brackets between single quotes init underscore command colon again single quotes. Let's add the double quotes. I'm setting the SQL underscore mode is equals to between single quotes. SQL mode is strict trans underscore tables. That's it. We have configured our database connection also in this settings.py. Let's save this file. Now the left over is the index.html, the designing part. Here we got some error, the options. So settings.py. Here we forgot to add the single quotes. Now let's save this file. Save all. Now we require the index.html page. Let's open that one. Now in this index.html, first let's add the doc type. Add the doc type. I'm closing the HTML tag. Inside the HTML, I'm adding the header section. In the header section, I'm adding the title. The title is selected drop-down list checkbox values insert. Then after the header, we'll add our body section, and the body section contains a center tag. The center tag, I'm adding the headings of this HTML page. How to insert multiple selected checkbox values from drop-down list. H3 Django using Bootstrap with jQuery. This is jQuery. After the horizontal line, I am adding the Bootstrap drop-down list control. So let's visit the getbootstrap.com, which is the official website. Getbootstrap.com, enter, and this is the official website of the Bootstrap. And notice here the front end is the open source, so we don't require any license to use these components. I'm using the version 4.5. First, get started, click the button. So when we want to implement the Bootstrap functionality in our website, we require this CDN link CSS. Let's copy this CSS link and paste in the header section after the title, the CSS link, and we require the JS links also. In this JS, we have 3 CDN links of the Bootstrap. Let's copy these 3 CDN links and paste here. After that, now in the body section, after the horizontal line, I'm adding the drop-down list of the Bootstrap. So to get the Bootstrap, in the search for drop-down, enter. And here we got the drop-downs. You can find here different varieties of drop-downs, but for this demo purpose, I'm adding very simple one. This one, the drop-down. If you notice here, when I expand this drop-down, we don't have any checkbox, but we have only the href links. So just copy this one, we'll modify in our page. Copy this one, and this one, drop down. Instead of drop down, I'm adding select courses. Now I don't require this hyperlinks. Instead of that, I'm adding input type is equals to checkbox, and the value is equals to Java. I'm adding Java. Let's add the break. Copy this one, paste here, second checkbox, third checkbox control, fourth one, and fifth one. Just for the demo purpose, I'm adding 5. Let's add another one, 6. 6 courses. Second one is the jQuery. Copy this one, paste here. MVC. Copy this one, MVC. JavaScript PHP, copy this PHP and paste here, and C#. Let's add the C#, copy this one, C# and paste here. That's it. Let's save this file, save all. Now we'll check the basic output, how it looks on the designing. Let's run the server, enter, and see here, after I run the server, we don't have any issues. We have already opened here the default website. Let's refresh. And here we got the output of our application. Notice the header tags, after that horizontal line, below that we got the drop down list of the Bootstrap. When I expand this drop down list, notice we got the Java, jQuery, JavaScript, PHP, the checkbox elements. Now the second step is, whatever the user selects the courses with the checkboxes, I want to save those selected checkbox values from this drop down list into this database, into this table. Right now this table is 0 rows. So let's start the coding part. They require one check label, text box control and one button control. So let's add that one also. Input type is equals to text, and they require the ID is equals to text. What are the selected values from this checkbox I want to display first in this checkbox text box control, then I will insert the records text, and I'm adding the read only. Let's close this text box control. After that we'll add the button control. Input type is equals to submit button, and the value of the button control is a insert courses. Let's close the input button control. Now let's save this file, save all. We'll check the output. I'm reloading the browser. So now we got the new output, the drop down list with the checkbox controls. One, and the text box control, which is a read only. Whatever the selected values I want to display in this text box control first, then I will insert the records. Let's add the Bootstrap color theme for this button control. The same class I'm adding here, the button control class is equals to, between double quotes I'm adding the class names. So I can save this file. We'll check the output. See, now we got the button control also the same color. Now we require the JavaScript jQuery functionality. So when we are implementing the jQuery functionality, we require the latest jQuery CDN link. So again open new tab and search for jQuery latest CDN Google. And from the search results, I'm selecting the hosted libraries. Let's browse that one. And here in the hosted libraries, notice here the script tag. Let's copy that one. The version of the jQuery is a 3.5.1 I'm using. I'm copying the script, the jQuery CDN, and pasting in the header section after the title. So first I'm adding the jQuery, then I'm adding the Bootstrap CDN links, CSS and JS links of the Bootstrap. in the header section. Now we'll add the code script. So it's a small s. Before adding the jQuery snippet, first the most important here, the input read only, we have to add a property called name. This is very important property. Name is equals to, I am adding my course names, the column names. Paste here, and this course names in the views page. See here, the request.post.get. What are the values we are getting? The selected text checkbox values. First we are getting in the text box. So that text box values I'm getting here. So whatever the request.post.get, wherever, paste the name property, which is our course names. That's it. Save all. Again, index.html. Now first let's add, we require the classes for every checkbox control. Class property, class is equals to the check values. Let's copy this class and paste for every checkbox control. Then after adding the classes to the input checkbox elements, next write the coding part in the script. $document dot ready function let's close with semicolon. Dollar in single quotes. When we want to add the class names in the jQuery, let's add the checkbox class name. We need to prefix with dot the click function. Let's add the semicolon for this click function. Now let's declare a variable txt is equals to, in double quotes it's empty. I'm declaring a variable, whatever the selected values I want to hold in this text box, text variable. Then let's add between single quotes dot the check values, this values dot colon check, checked checked dot each function that selected text checkbox values text plus is equals to, I'm concatenating here because I'm selecting more than one checkbox element, dollar this dot val method plus between double quotes I'm adding comma here. Here I want to separate the selected checkbox values with a comma. Then those values, the selected values, I want to display in the text box element here in this ID. So here dollar between single quotes, let's add the text ID, copy this one, When we are adding IDs, we need to prefix with hash dot val method the values we are getting from this text. Copy this one and paste here. So here might be confusing text display. The label ID of this text box control is the text display. That's it. We have written the code, whatever the selected values in the text box control from the drop down list, whatever the selected checkbox values from the drop down list will display in the text box element. Here we forgot to add the semicolon. Let's save this file. Save all. I'm reloading the browser. So after I reload the browser, notice when I click MVC, see how we got MVC here, PHP, Java. If I unselect MVC, it's gone. But here if you notice, I'm getting one small comma here at the end of the text. So I want to delete the last comma. So here I am adding the substring method. So text is equals to text dot substring method. The substring method takes the parameter, the starting number. The starting number of the substring is 0, comma, and the ending number I want to -1. So the ending number text, the values you are getting from the text, minus the proper not dot, text dot length property -1. That's it. Semicolon. Save all. We check the output. I'm reloading the browser. So now I'm selecting the value C#. Notice we are not getting the comma here. I select Java, MSc. We are not getting the last comma here. Now let's insert the selected checkbox values, what are displaying in this text box. I want to save in this table new courses. Right now this table contains 0 rows. See? 0 rows. It's empty right now. So let's add the function to insert the records. After the horizontal line in the body tag, we'll add the form element. Form method is equals to post. I'm closing the form tag. Insert this form tag between curly brackets plus %%. I'm adding the token here, CSRF underscore token. So in Django application, when we are posting, we need to add this CSRF underscore token. This line is very important. If you don't add this line, we'll get an error. The purpose of adding this line is when we are posting the data, it protects our data from the hackers. So you must add this line. And let's close this form tag. We'll add after the due tag. And also, once the selected records are inserted successfully, I want to display the message. If you check in the views, I have implemented the messages. This message I want to display. So in the index.html, after the div tag, I'm adding horizontal line between %, if condition, if messages, let's close this, and if %, and if, and inside the if condition I'm adding for loop for result is an object dot in messages. We are getting that message from this message class, so I am adding the messages. Let's close the for loop with and for. Now inside this if and for loop, I am adding the h4 element, and the h4 element I am adding the style tag, the color, the property I am adding color, color is green, semicolon. Between double curly brackets in this expression, I am adding this variable result, because the result is nothing but this message. So let's save this file. We have done the complete coding part. Now we'll run the server, Control C. See, after I run the server, we don't have any issues. This is our web server now, which we have already opened here. Now let's reload the browser. Now let's check the final output. These are the header tags. After that horizontal line, after the horizontal line, we have the drop down list with the checkbox elements. Now when I select any course, notice here the selected values is displaying in the text box control. C#, MVC. If I unselect. Now let's insert this Java, PHP and C#. Before insert the courses, the button control, let's check my new courses. Let's browse the table. Right now this table contains 0 rows, empty rows. So let's insert courses. So here we got a message, the selected courses Java, PHP and C# we have selected from this drop down list is saved successfully. We'll check in our database. Let's browse this table again. So here we got the course names, the multiple values from the drop down list Java, PHP and C#. Let's select another one. Now this time I'm selecting JavaScript and jQuery. I have selected only two courses, which are jQuery and JavaScript. Insert course. The message we got, the selected courses jQuery and JavaScript is saved successfully. Now again I'm browsing the table. So here we got the new courses are added, jQuery and JavaScript. That's it. We have implemented to insert multiple selected checkbox values from this drop down list using Bootstrap with jQuery.